and welcome back to another 3 a.m. production video. This week we're going to be talking about the leader of the band who was made for you and me. Wait, no, that's not right. Well, why Donald's getting wrapped up in the notes, why don't we talk about him and draw him all at the same time? Now, Donald is obviously well known for his temper tantrums and being best friends with Mickey and Goofy and his longtime girlfriend Daisy Duck. Let's go ahead and take a deep dive of this duck. Now, there's a lot of origin stories for how Donald Duck was created, but one of my favorite that I've ever read about was one night Walt was on a date with his wife, and they go to a comedy club. They're watching the show, and this man gets up, and he starts doing a bit where he's singing Mary Had a Little Lamb in various bird calls. Walt was inspired by this and loved it so much that after the show he went backstage to meet the man and offered him a job. Now, this man was not interested. He wanted to keep doing his comedy routine, so Walt decided another idea. That he invited him to his studio to come take a tour. Of course, how could this man resist such an offer? Well, Clarence Nash goes to the studio and is being paraded around the back lot of the studio and get to see all the artists doing their thing. And the last stop on this tour was a recording booth, in which Walt had tricked him into recording lines, him, of course, doing Mickey Mouse, and Nash doing what will become Donald Duck. Now, Donald Fauntleroy Duck became the short-fused side piece to the cheeky Mickey Mouse, often in competition for attention, which is more one-sided from Donald. Quickly turned into him getting his own shorts and finding his own way in the popularity of actually him and Goofy surpassing Mickey, at least till Fantasia. Now, Donald Duck doesn't get the same high school sweetheart treatment that Mickey and Minnie do in such a short such as Don Donald. He was seen traversing Mexico on his trusty steed, a donkey, where he meets Donna Duck. Now, she proceeds to play hard to get, and the rest is history. We eventually end up with Daisy Duck. For a while, everybody thought that they were the same duck, just with a name change, kind of like what they did with Goofy. But alas, in the Disney comic strips, we find out that Donald and Daisy get a new neighbor, Donna Duck, who had recently moved from Mexico. So we can find that they are, in fact, two different ducks. Now, Donald Duck has a lot of extended family. We obviously have his rich uncle Scrooge, his 3 nephews, his twin sister, his cousin Gus Goose, who just, eats him out of the house at home. Now, Nash provided the voice for a lot of Donald's extended family, including Scrooge McDuck, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Of course, Donald even played understudy for Mickey on occasion. And Nash played Donald for years and eventually retired from the role and even trained his replacement to take on the role of Donald, subsequently visiting hospitals after retirement to do the voice for sick children. Eventually reprised Donald one more time in Mickey's Christmas Carol before passing away a few years later. Besides Donald's talented Hollywood debut, also has a history with the U.S. government. During World War II, he was drafted into the military, the Army. That's where we found out that his middle name was Fauntleroy on a little draft card, in which Disney Animation Studios created propaganda videos for the U.S. government to spearhead the American campaign against the Nazis. Now, they created some new shorts for this, but the amount of Donald Duck shorts that they recycled and just changed the animation slightly or added a new ending or just the attention to details of certain characters is how the studio got away without making an expensive cartoon. One short in particular was they took an episode in which Donald goes to school, and he proceedingly runs into a couple of roadblocks before he actually gets to the school building, in which he's got little Halo Donald on one shoulder and little Devil Donald on the other shoulder, one of them trying to get him to play hooky, the other, trying to get him to go study like a good little boy. When they reprised that in the World War II short, they changed the little Devil Donald to a little Nazi Donald on his shoulder. In the 70s, the U.S.'s Department of Housing and Urban Development hired him in a ways. He was being used to see if a new computer system could catch government payroll fraud. The computer that was running the series of tests actually uncontested his name, but he was one of 30 fictitious characters that they were trying to use to see if this software would pick up on it. He ended up making a salary of $99,000, which is almost double what you actually make at that department. Now, Donald Duck will not appreciate us coloring him at this point because he's in fact colorblind. Despite Donald's crazy family dynamics and his short fuse temper and the fact he doesn't wear any pants, I think the one thing I can say with utmost certainty is we hope he never goes to anger management because we're just too gosh darned entertained. Until next time.